Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. This is still morning. Good morning. I want to do this topic. This topic is really good. This is talking about Ramses, the Pharaoh, that really was a top goon. I'm going to break down the bloodline. I'm going to basically break down the lineage of Pharaoh, of the Pharaoh, and this what you call a really top, top, top goon that had money, that had over 200 wives, that had everything. I mean, everything that you could think of. He had the, he had the physical world on lock and the spiritual world on lock, because he came from that very bloodline of ancients of the ancient ancestors that was using telepathically and telekinesis. He came from that. This was during the time of Adam, basically, of Adam, where that these ancient ancestors, they didn't speak. They didn't speak, okay? And they talked telepathically to one another, and telekinesis was the thing that they used. They was in tune with everything physical, spiritually, and mentally. And Pharaoh was the top, top goon. He come from that bloodline, right before Christ time. This is BC. He come from that very that was he was like really the last bloodline to uphold this very dark entity of murder, death, kill, barbaric, evil, twisted way of life. He uphold that darkness. All right. This was during the time of belief and non-belief. This was the time between belief and non-belief, right? And based on non-belief and belief, you had you have two ancient ancestors, and this is why the flood took place. It was to destroy and eradicate this disbelief. The disbelief that was going on at the time, it was overshadowing and outrunning the worship of one creator. The worship of one creator. From Adam all the way to Noah. Right? This entity and bloodline still was existing. That's why the flood happened. That's why the flood happened. That's why the flood happened. And when this flood happened, right, it was to eradicate and destroy this behavior. It was to destroy this behavior. To destroy this behavior, which was plaguing us, which was destroying us, which was doing what? Leading us down a dark path of not worshiping the Creator. Because when He created us to bring justice and balance upon us of this earth. We was created to be the vicegerent of the earth, right, and the universe, and to teach the angels. That's why we was there to replace this demonic, evil, twisted, barbaric way of life, because He was there before us. He was teaching the angels how to worship the Creator. That's why he was brought up. That's why he was brought up. He was brought up to worship, right? To worship the Creator and to teach the angels how to worship the Creator, the Alpha Omega. And the Creator knows him, and he knows the Creator. Basically, he talked to him telepathically. Do you understand this? This was real deep. So, when he created Adam, and then he sent Adam down here. I don't want to go into all the details of it. I want to skip all this, but when Adam and this entity, right, and Eve was sent down here upon the earth, they didn't speak. They didn't speak. They talked telepathically to one another. And this entity too. Yes, the entity taught them how to do evil, how to backdoor the Creator, right? So as Adam and Eve was procreating and populating the earth, remember Eve, she had 20 babies, 30 babies, 40 babies. This was at the time where they was populating the earth. So this entity saw this. and the entity started whispering into to the hearts of mankind and to the hearts of the mind, body, and soul. Started using this and teaching them how to be disobedient, how to kill each other. Do you understand that? That came from this entity that lurks in the shadows. So when they was doing this, at the same time, they was building pyramids. They was building pyramids. Okay? And the ancient ancestors started building pyramids based on the ants and termites, getting in contact with the termites. And the termites and the ants and all of those communities of insects and animals was showing Adam how to build sanctuaries, how to build shelter over his head, how to clothe himself, because he wasn't upon this earth. He didn't know. But this entity was teaching also evil things, how to be disobedient. So all the way up from Adam, all the way to Noah, you had disbelief and belief going on. They was clashing. They was clashing with one another. Do you understand what I'm saying? They was clashing and fighting. So in order to save the bloodline of the ancient ancestors that was worshiping the one creator, the Alpha Omega, that was worshiping him, that was traveling back and forth out of space. Even the ones that wasn't worshiping the creator at the time had the power. They also had the power. Yes, they did. They also had the power, right, to transfer themselves in and out. This was a battle going on back then, during Adam time and all the way up to Noah, okay, of disbelief and belief. There wasn't no religion. There wasn't no religion going on. There was no Jew. There was no Christian. There was no Muslim. There was nothing. There was only belief and non-belief. That's it. That's it. This is all big facts. So after the flood happened, right, after the flood happened, Noah delegated to his families and those on a boat to go settle over here, He gave them different parts of the earth to go resettle, right? And to go populate the earth. So when they did that, this entity was still there because the entity was given permission for respite into the day of judgment. This is all facts. So this entity still whispered into people, and he was there to mislead the people into darkness upon darkness, all the way up to Moses. You trace the lineage back. Pharaoh came from that very bloodline of the ancient ancestors that knew the ways of the pyramid ways. The pyramid ways were still there because they was building pyramids, because that's all they knew was pyramids. It was pyramids all through the civilizations, right? And what happened during the flood built on top of the pyramids. This is facts. So after when Noah's sons came out and the wives and the women, they started building pyramids. They still was building pyramids, right? All the way up into Abraham, all the way up to Jesus. They still was building pyramids. Pyramids still was being built. This is all true facts. So we're going to talk about Noah. Noah come from this very bloodline. So what happened was, being that the creator knew that there was non-belief and belief, he had to come in and change the narrative of civilization to bring a new civilization. And the civilization he brought about scriptures, right? About the Hebrew, about the Torah. And when he brought the Torah, this was passed down from the bloodline of the ancient ancestors, that the ancient ancestors prayed to the Almighty to save their bloodline. So the Almighty, he answered their prayers. He said, listen, I'm going to save your bloodline, to believe in one creator. But he didn't give them detail on how he's going to do it. He's not going to tell them that. So he gave them scriptures, because before they didn't have scriptures. They was actually getting the direct answers from the creator. They was talking to him, the creator. This is all big facts. This is all big facts. So after this, right, Ramesses, the Pharaoh, he was the top goon. I mean top. He had the spiritual world on lock. He had the physical world on lock. He was the first person to build big tall towers. As we see, you see big tall towers and big building. He was the first Pharaoh to build these big tall buildings. 100 stories up, 130 stories up. It was Pharaoh. He said, I'm going to build a tower to reach your God. So every time he kept building the tower, it kept falling down. But he was the first one. He actually knew the Creator. He knew him. But he didn't want to jack him. He wasn't jacking the Creator. He knew the Creator exists. The Almighty, the Mega, the Alpha Omega. Right? He said, listen, your God is God in the afterlife. That's your God. I'm God upon this earth. I'm your God. I'm God. And I'm having people to worship me. This is actual true fact. He was going back and forth with the Creator. They was going back and forth. He still held on all the way until he died. And then when he got towards the death, when death overtook him, he said, I believe now. The Creator says no. Because they was going back and forth through Moses and Aaron. Peace and blessing be upon both these prophets and messengers. This is actual true fact. This was going on. Pharaoh was no joke. They don't talk about Pharaoh. They don't talk about Ramesses. What? He was a top goon, bro. The top shooter. The top spinning the block. Everything. Everything that you can imagine he had on lock. And he had, at that time, it was magic. He had those on deck. That's why he had magic on lock. He had magic on lock because at that time, they knew how to dibble and dabble because the Creator gave us powers to dibble and dabble into that physical world. We still got it. But even though it's dumbed down now, it's dumbed down a little bit. But we still have the powers. But most of it has been taken away through the ages of man of losing our way, whether it be good or bad. That's why he said in the magic, he said most of it is going to lead you to darkness upon darkness. It's going to lead you there. But there's some good in it. But we as Muslims, we don't dibble and dabble in that because it leads to dark. This is facts. So they know all this, how to mess with magic, how to mess with certain things, trickery. Where do you think the magic come from? Tricks and all that. That been around for ages, from BC, before Christ. This was going down. And Pharaoh was he was the most richest in the world. He had 200 wives. He had children upon children. He uphold the ancient ancestors that was battling that during the time of Adam. That bloodline, right? That bloodline went all the way to Moses. This is actual true facts. So when you talk about Goon, when you talk about taking over, when you talk about misinformed, miseducated, miss everything, leading people between good and bad, knowing the dark side, knowing this, you seen Star Wars, you seen all of that. This is true, but in a different form. Pharaoh was all of that. Pharaoh, Ramesses, straight up. So when death approached him, he said, yo, I believe now. The Creator says, no, I'm going to make your body a sign to the day of judgment, to the day of hour. I'm going to preserve you. He said it. And his body still reserved to this day. They cannot destroy this body because that was a promise that the Creator said that he was going to do to the day of judgment. They cannot do nothing with his body. Even though they don't tell me and you, I'm telling you this. This is actual true fact. So you talk about Goon, you talk about top shooters, you talk about a person that had everything in the physical realm and the spiritual, that knew all of that knew all the pattern. From bloodline to bloodline that was in the bloodline, Pharaoh had it. Pharaoh had it. I'm just talking facts. But he was destroyed in the end. Yo, him and the Creator was battling out. They was going back and forth. In the end, the Creator destroyed them. In the Red Sea, when they split the Red Sea, he drowned on them. He drowned Pharaoh. He drowned them and all of his people. Yo, he had top what? Top commanders. Top everything. Pharaoh was so in tune. He was in tune with nature. He was in tune with the sun. He was in tune mathematically, a science, everything, bro. Everything that you can think of. This is all facts. So I'm going to give you a little history just based on that. That's why I'm dropping this knowledge to you so you can spread it and share it and like it. You're not going to get this information just like that anywhere and everywhere. I'm bringing knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to you. Pharaoh was the top goon. Do you hear me? Do you hear me, beloved? He was the top goon at his time. And everybody that's living this gangster persona life is contribute all the way to Pharaoh. And then it's contribute to this entity. Because the entity was aiding him on. Pharaoh was in tune with this entity. The entity was telling him this, telling him that, telling him how to backdoor the Creator, telling him this and that knew the life of spirituality in the physical realm. I'm telling you. But they didn't have the knowledge of the unseen. You see how deep the Creator is? The Creator went to the unseen on them and destroyed Pharaoh. He went to the unseen on him. This is all facts. All facts. This is all facts. All facts. Please like, share, subscribe to this dopest channel out right now on YouTube. I'm tired of people calling me. I'm doing lives, they calling me. I'm going to block you. You're messing up my live and my message to get out to people. I'm going to block you. You're going to be blocked because you blocking me from giving out this message. This message is dope. This content is dope. You're not going to give it. Nobody's not giving it up like this. Pharaoh was the top goon. Everybody that's living his life of murder, death, kill, barbaric, evil, twisted way of life, that's killing people and murdering people, that came from Pharaoh. That came from Ramesses. He was destroying all of the firstborn. Destroying all of the firstborn and letting the women's alive so he could impregnate them. Pharaoh was no joke. And he knew about the afterlife. He knew about the afterlife and this life. Pharaoh, because he had chiefs there. He had chiefs that dibble and dabble in it, that was dealing with the jinns, that was entwined with them, that talked to them, that communicate with them. Even Pharaoh himself, that was backdooring the Creator down here in this world. Moses was scared. He was scared. He was scared. The Creator had to give him all those signs to take to him because Pharaoh was powerful in this life. And in the hereafter a little bit. He knew about it. He knew about it. Pharaoh knew about it and his chiefs. They knew about the afterlife. He destroyed them. They all begged for their life to be in the physical. They said, I believe now. I believe. It took the water splitting the Red Sea for them to believe. For them to believe. So it's the same thing now. It's the same thing now. I'm bringing the Red Sea to you. With my content, this is the Red Sea. If you don't start believing now, you're going to be overrun and drowned by the Red Sea. I'm bringing signs to you. Do you understand? With my content, with my videos on YouTube. Please like, share, subscribe to the dopest channel. Live the life, live the life. Ain't no thing. I'm married to the game and the game is married to me. It cloak itself with your lower desires of fame, fortune, and riches to destroy you. It's here to destroy you. But I'm bringing the signs that Moses brought to you before the Red Sea overtake you. My content is the Red Sea from the Creator. You don't want to drown. You don't want to drown, beloved. I'm trying to give you life, knowledge, wisdom, understanding, mixing with the mathematics of the spiritual existence, the almighty mega. This is facts. Please like, share, subscribe. This is the dopest channel. Page, 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 page.